Good morning, everybody. Welcome to WTOP for the 17th of December. Look at this. Look at that. This is DCRTV's #1 fan, Dina. She is our DCRTV Fan of the Year for 2013. We have proclaimed it. And that's a picture of her there wearing, she went to some race there at Reston Town Center the other day. And was wearing this funny there's another picture of her. Look at that. There's Dina wearing her antlers. DCRTV's #1 fan of the year. There she is, kind of a little bit fuzzier there. DCRTV's #1 fan of the year. Then of course they got me to put on these stupid antlers, and isn't that stupid looking? I had to be standing just in front of a stupid, I don't know what that is, some sort of a thing on the wall there. So it makes it look like I have bizarre looking hair. I don't know, man. Crazy. Crazy. Oh, there's Estelle. But some of the crazy people that hang out over there at the Starbucks here in Reston, South Lakes. Yes, yes, yes. Who's that? So I passed this around, and people thought I looked like the guy. Who was it in those old Six Flags? The bald guy in the Six Flags commercials. So anyhow, this isn't mine, by the way. This is on loan from a friend who's addicted to it. He's addicted to going on dating sites, and in order to stop his addiction, he has decided to let me have his iPad for a while. So, oh wow. Okay, here's my impersonation now of WTOP and what it's become. It's cold this morning. Boy, bundle up out there. Oh, there's a big backup at the American Legion Bridge. Oh, I bet you those government workers are going to be fuming. By the way, there's wind out there. Then tomorrow it's going to be sunny, so you can take off your shirt and walk around. It's really turned into kind of a funny humor. Lots of humor there on WMAL. I don't know. Anyhow, I got this from Comcast. I just love it. Every December or so, they give you this giant. Look at this thing. This is the list of prices and stuff for 2014. And, of course, there's that. And then there's all this. I mean, it's just like, good Lord. Good Lord. I'm casually looking through this, and I'm honestly seeing a lot of no change things. So a lot of their rates aren't changing. A few things are going up, a little more expensive. But it doesn't seem like anything, everything's like things that are going up maybe $1 or $2. They are raising the lease rate for your modem from $7 to $8. I wonder who thought that up, which means I'll probably just go out and buy one finally. But let's rate it's $8 to lease a modem. Come on. But most of this stuff is no change, so I guess that's good news. I guess we gotta worry that more people are gonna cut the cords. Washington Post again. Yesterday's Washington Post. If you wanted to see what was on television in yesterday's Washington Post, you saw Saturday's listings and Monday's paper. Okay, that's not the first time the Washington Post has done that. In fact, the week before, if you wanted to look at the weather forecast for Monday, you got the weather forecast for Sunday. So obviously those people over there at the Washington Post are taking a lot of time and not paying attention to what they're putting out in the print edition. And I guess why should they? Because, probably fewer and fewer people are reading it every day. The big news today, yeah, is what's his face? Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity is now going to be heard on. Did I ever put batteries in this thing? No, I didn't. Darn it. I thought I did. Okay, so let's go over to the radio. Let's see what WWRC sounds like. Sean Hannity is going over to WWRC. This is WMAL, by the way.
I mean, by far, I've got more Beatles on my iPod than anything else. Okay, if we're judging by iPod,
that's what WWRC sounds like. Okay. So now if I go, no, that's what WMAL sounds like. That's his current station, Sean Hannity. So now let's go to WWRC, which is 1260, and see what that sounds like. Okay, let me jiggle the antenna around. And that's his new station there, WWRC 1260. That's what Sean's new station is going to be, WWRC 1260. Now, I can get WWRC in the car, if I'm driving around in the car. But here at my home office, the AM signal just gets blasted away by electronic interference and everything else. But anyhow, come January 1st, WWRC Salem-owned 1260 will be Sean Hannity's new station. Now, the rumblings is what's WMAL going to do with their afternoon drive there from 3 to 6 once Sean Hannity leaves. Sean's leaving all of the Cumulus stations. They're just saying, you're out of here, buddy. I personally think that WMAL should start a live and local afternoon drive show, and I think the folks there at MAL really want to do that. The question is, will Cumulus and their iron fist boots their iron fist from Atlanta will allow them to do that? They are a penny pinching cheapo company, and they probably will just say, no, you're just moving Michael Savage from evenings to the afternoon shift. So we'll see. Be interesting to see what happens. But I kind of guess that they'll probably just put Michael Savage in afternoons. It's cheap and doesn't cost a lot of money, and that's probably what you're going to see. But I can't imagine, what Salem needs to do, and I've said this before, if Salem wants to get that righty talker on what they call WRC, which is WWRC on 1260, any ratings, is they need to move it to 105.1. And then they need to take Salem's little listened to 105.1 programming, the religious talk, and move that on to 1260, or maybe a combination of AM stations. Maybe they should, what they should do is maybe buy WTEM's 980 signal from Dan Snyder and put maybe WWRC or WAVA 105.1's religious talk over there, and then move the Salem talk, the righty talk, from 1260 and put that over on 105.1, and then really, really ratchet it up and give WMAL some heartburn there. I think that would be kind of cool, but I don't know. People say, Salem they don't get ratings, but they make money. They do make money, but they have very, very low overhead. So they make, financially it makes sense, even though WAVA, which is, 105.1 is one of the best FM signals in the Washington market, and it's lucky if it ranks over 30th because of, nobody listens to it. But yet, programmers, various religious groups would be happy to pay money to be on it. So I think what WAVA ought to do, what Salem ought to do, is they ought to put the righty talk from 1260 on the 105.1, and then take the 105.1 religious programming and stick it on either, one of their AMers, stick it over on 1260 and maybe try to buy 980. I don't know. Do something like that with it. But no one's going to listen to Sean Hannity on 1260. He gets no ratings. I mean, you look at the radio ratings, and nobody's listening to 1260. Diamond. What's happening to Jack Diamond? Jack Diamond got canned from WRQX back in April or something, and then was off the air over the summer. And then there was a lot of rumors that he'd be resurfacing on the DC radio dial, and basically, I guess nobody wanted him, so he ended up going down to Miami to work for the station called WLYF Light down there in Miami, doing the morning show. And now he's disappeared. He's just taken some time off. I love when people say, Jack is an acquired taste. He built a following here in Washington over the years, and just to jump into a new market where you're not known and you're kind of this older guy with this kind of old style of broadcasting, people, these stations need to be skewing young, and they don't need to be hiring a 60-year-old dude to do a morning drive. It just ain't going to work. And it looks like maybe they're finally, he goes down to Miami where a bunch of his friends, people that he knew in the business are working. And they give him a shot there, and I can't imagine it's working. So we shall see what happens with Jack. I'm sure he's probably going to I don't know what's Jack going to do. I don't know. Go over to Wash again. Wash isn't going to want to pay what Jack's worth, what Jack thinks he's worth, whatever like that. I don't know. Tip of the old camo cap, which I'm not wearing at the moment, to Mac McGarry. He passed away last week. The age of 89. Mac was a real trooper. I mean, can you imagine somebody working at one TV station for 60 years? It just doesn't happen anymore, except, of course, for maybe Jim Vance. Jim Vance and Mac McGarry. But for 50 years, he hosted the It's Academic Show on Channel 4 here in Washington. And, was one of those booth announcers, the olden days, where you went to the top of the hour, the top of the hour station identification. They actually had a booth announcer. This is WRC Washington. Stay tuned next for the monkeys. Something like that. And he did that. It's kind of cool. But a really cool guy. And I also have a lot of emails from Mac's son over the years, Mark, who's a cool guy, and he's kept us up to date on all of Mac's doings over the years. So you have often read about them first here on DCRTV. The last Inside Washington is to air the next weekend, this coming weekend, the 22nd. We broke the news. We broke the news here at DCRTV back in the spring that All Britain was going to pull the plug on it at the end of the year. And guess what? It did happen. And but in the meantime, they decided to sell the station to Sinclair. So the very last Inside Washington, that show dates back to Agronsky and Company. Remember Martin Agronsky hosted a talk show there over on Channel 9, the old WTOP TV, back in the 70s. And then when Martin retired or whatever, it got handed down to Gordon. Gordon Peterson, another longtime radio TV veteran. Be interesting to see what happens with Gordon once Sinclair takes over Channel 7. I know he signed another deal for at least another year there at Channel 7. So I think he's just going to keep his tail between his legs and keep quiet and do his business, and then they'll have a nice little retirement party for him in a year or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he can go over to Channel 4. Maybe he can go over to Channel 4 for his last couple years as an anchor, and he can co-anchor with Jim Vance. The old guys. It's the old news at 11 with Jim Vance and Gordon Peterson. Maybe they can, start pitching like, I don't know. It's like WMAO where they do all the pitching of the old folks stuff. You need no dentures. Larry O'Connor, and his, Chamonix. Oh, my skin is breaking out. I need some skin cream. I don't know, man. I don't know. The Department of Justice okays Gannett's bellow buy. Well, whoop-de-ding-dong. So more consolidation there in the media business. All right, folks. I guess that should do it. Don't forget to help support DCRTV. We're in the end of our fall fundraiser. And you know that even though we do run ads on the site, a lot of good chunk of our revenue comes from donations from fine folks like you. So help us support DCRTV. I didn't take my car in to get it serviced the other day, and it's like, you got this wrong with it, you got this wrong with it, you got this wrong with it. So when I need my car to drive around to all these events. I'm meeting with a very top, tomorrow I'm meeting with a top radio guy in a secret meeting. I am. We'll find out some more about what's going on the radio dial tomorrow. Oh, don't forget, we're back with the 2013 best worst list here at DCRTV. Just click on the link there at the top of the DCRTV page and send us your best and worst nominations in DC and Baltimore area media for 2013. That's radio, TV, internet, newspapers, whatever, cable TV, whatever, websites, whatever. Send us your nominations. We do that every year, okay? And we've already got quite a few. It's only been up one day, and we've already got quite a few. So That's cool. Just one of the great things that DCRTV provides for you. All right, folks. Thanks for watching Dave TV for the 17th of December, 2013. Buck on Dano!